Unfiltered.
I'm not sold. I'm sorry.
Unapologetic.
I'm not trying to talk about him.
Unlike anyone else.
But knowing y'all
will probably make me.
This is the Stephen A. Smith Show.
Yeah. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the latest edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show, coming at you as I love to do every weekday over the Sirius XM airwaves of Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82. The number to call up, as always, is 888 Mad Dog 6. That's 888-623-3646. Once again, it's 888 Mad Dog 6. That's 888-623-3646. Normally, I am very, very enthusiastic about starting off my show. I mean, after all, there were some great NFL games to get into, which I unquestionably will. There's obviously the Ryder Cup to talk about and some of the fallout from that. There's baseball and the Mets having an epic collapse. There's something like that to get into. Damn it, there's a new star coming to town for the Super Bowl. Halftime show, Bad Bunny has been chosen to be the halftime show for Super Bowl 60, in out west in the Bay Area. All of that obviously is stuff that I plan on getting into as the show progresses today. And usually I'm giving you an opening monologue, but it's going to be interrupted, okay? Because in light of the fact that the Dallas Cowboys did not get their ass kicked, that they did not get blown out, that they did not get stomped like I thought they would, and ended up in a 40-40 tie with the Green Bay Packers. Rather than give you my opening soliloquy about what transpired and how you should feel about it, I decided that somebody else would be better suited to do so, because he decided he would be better suited to do so. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. There is only one Playmaker, and that is the one and only Michael Irvin. Why are you smiling like you just won a playoff game? Why are you doing that? Why?
Because I feel you. I really do. I feel you. I know you had this thing planned out. And as a businessman, I'm like, just the plan just didn't work. You know, you want to bring me on. It was going to be, let's get Michael today, because that's what that thing was going to look like. But that's what makes the game so great, Stephen A., that you can go in one way and walk out another. That was a hell of a game. And a lot of guys stood up and made plays. That's what we asked about all the time. In crucial moments, make those plays, show that you are worthy. And I must admit, even in a tie, my boys showed some things. They were down. They didn't have the best player. So each man has to dig deeper inside oneself and find a better self so we can help all the selves that had on cowboy uniforms. And they did that. So yes, I'm upset that we didn't get the victory, but we are growing young men. And this thing is playing in the end of the season. So I'm gonna have. I like the opportunities, and with what Dak is doing, come on, man. When CD gets back, I ain't taking a victory. I'm planning. I'm not
would
taking
you
a
at
victory.
least have the decency to acknowledge you were nervous when y'all were down 14-0? You were nervous as hell. You thought y'all were going to get blown out of the building. You were sitting there going like this, Stephen, they called it again. Oh, damn, I'm going to have to listen to him. You were sitting there. That's what you were thinking, wasn't it? Tell the truth.
Right, dog. I was like, God almighty, dog. No joke. And I'm sitting here. I'm at the game like, right? And I'm there. I do the get hype video. Then I'm the legend of the game. They showing me. I'm trying to show a strong front. But I've been begging God, please, God, we got anything. Please, God, I'll cut all the hair off. I'll do anything to do that. Just don't, And I knew I was going to see you Monday. So please don't let this thing go down like that. And man, dude, once they blocked that field goal, and then picked it up and took it back, things changed. It just changed in that game. And I don't know what came out of them. But yeah. That's where hope. I said, yeah, we got a shot.
So how did it feel for you personally, since you're responsible, after all, for him being gone? I mean, how did it feel for you to see Micah Parsons roll back in that stadium with a Green Bay Packers uniform. What was that like for you, Michael Irvin? Since you did acknowledge, damn it, you
Right.
could have did more. You could have done more. You could have
Yeah.
influenced Jerry and kept him in a Dallas Cowboys uniform.
Right, but I also saw my truth. I saw my truth when I saw Michael Parsons. You know, I saw everything I've said was right because you saw the pain on his face. And you always say what you want. You say what you want. He didn't want to come out warm up. It was a different thing for him. That gave me my truth. That gave me my truth, dude. Come on, man. Let's go. You go have a great career. And he is going to have a great career. You go make a lot of money. And you are going to make a lot of money. But Stephen A., it's family. It's family. And you had your family right here. All live right here. They ain't never moving to Green Bay. No. You were king here. And your whole family were going to live like kings and queens. They never going to Green Bay.
But here's
I'm
the thing.
just saying.
He didn't want to leave. Jerry Jones didn't mind him leaving. And Jerry Jones said it yesterday because he was talking about, you know what, you got a quarterback like Dak Prescott doing his thing and Micah Parsons. Jerry was basically gloating about the fact that he absolutely believes he made the right decision by moving Micah on so he could get additional picks and a guy like Kenny Clark. So he was feeling himself last night, pointing out how even with Micah out there, he was limited in what he could do. Whereas Jerry's guy, Dak Prescott, has been balling out. So Jerry, one could easily argue, has all the reasons in the world to feel good about himself right now.
No, Stephen. Any man would understand, and you and I do, that given these two things, you may say one thing. But since you had both things, you shouldn't say. See, what he's doing there is fighting with y'all. He's trying to win that moment with y'all. But he knows he ultimately lost Michael. And Michael knows he ultimately lost Jerry. And Jerry's pain is fighting you guys. And Michael was fighting his pain coming to play this game. Y'all can act like I ain't telling them Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John if you want to. But I saw what I saw. I saw what I saw. And it was fitting. Michael made an incredible play because we would have walked away with a victory if Michael didn't chase down Dak from behind like that. And then Dak would have thrown for 3 touchdowns and ran for 2 in the game winner. You know what I'm saying? So he made an impact in that game. He made an impact. And Jared feels like he got a victory because the tie in that game.
Well, you feel like that. That's you.
None of them won. None of them won. Both of them lost when we talk about the Michael trade. That game, that's a little synopsis or something. Part of the battle. But we're talking about ultimately the war. And both lost, which means we all lost. And you're right, I do really blame me. I should have put that back together.
Well, let me ask you this, Michael Irvin. In light of the way that Dak Prescott is playing right now, looking absolutely fantastic. Already throwing for over 1,100 yards in the season, 6 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. But he is balling, make no mistake about it, averaging about 279 yards a game in the air. What are your thoughts right now? What are you seeing truly from your Dallas Cowboys? Do you really think they got a chance to, let's say, win the NFC East or make the playoffs?
And here it is. I'm telling you, Stephen, I would be, and I'm going to close it after this. I would be sky high, riding right if Michael Parsons was still in Dallas. Now, because that was the perfect match. We were waiting on Dak to take this next step. And Dak has taken it. I talked to you guys about it. I mean, Dak can put up with this group. And I'm willing now to say, okay, now we win with Dak throwing the ball, and a Javonte Williams running. We don't have a Derrick Henry and everything. So this has always been to say, I'm willing to say it because I see a new Dak too. You see that.
A new Dak?
You know what?
What's new about him? What's new about him?
What's new about him. The way he's carrying himself, the way he is. You can see what he's putting in on the field, how much he's running around now. making plays, throwing across his body. I believe Stephen A. is because he's married. He just looks more mature up there, handling things in a better. I see it in Josh Allen too. You know what I mean? Remember how we used to talk about a Josh Allen? You ain't gonna say none of that. Now you look at Josh Allen and say, that's the man. He's up there. He's the man. They had a great talent, but now their person has grown into their talent, and you can see the difference on them. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Let's cut it loose. Let's become the passing team that can run.
Why are you doing this to yourself? I'm trying to be here for you. I'm trying to be a friend. I'm trying to be here for you. You know good and damn well your defense stinks. You know good and damn well y'all ain't going to win by so much because the defense ain't going to come to the rescue. You can score all the points in the world, but you're going to still go home with ties or with a loss. When are you going to accept that?
No, you're right about that. You're right about that. And that's why I say I grab hope from this, because the Cowboys are the only team to have given up 35 plus points in consecutive home games and not walked home with a loss. That's because of Dak Prescott. I capitulated. I already knew the defense was going to do what it did. That's why I cried so much for Michael Parsons. Because if Dak had put up 35-40, at least I got a Michael Parsons to unleash on the world and go get him some sacks. I can commingle and have victory with that. You see what I'm saying? With this defense now, it's going to take even more of Dak. I thought 32 points to get it. It may take a 40-pointer. And now I'm okay with believing Dak can give me a 40-pointer. I just don't know how much longer I can wait on Matt Eberflus to do something with this defense. But that gives me hope. Dak Prescott is the one giving me hope, MVP.
It's really bad. The defense is really bad, but I give that to you. So is that your way of saying you think the Dallas Cowboys are going to make the playoffs?
Oh yeah. We'll get in the playoffs.
How?
We'll get in the playoffs. I just told you. Dak Prescott.
Let's go through the teams. You got Philly and Washington in the NFC East. You know you ain't getting that. You got Detroit and Green Bay.
Wait. Stop. What now? Stop. I would let you say we ain't getting that if you had not seen game one. You saw game one. We almost got that. So you can't just throw that out cavalierly in any way like, oh, that's an automatic victory. We should have won game one. And now we know what's going on in Philly. You don't know. And Jaden, we know he's hurt. So all of that sounds good, but I can't just give it up like that.
What has happened to you with the almost? The almost be right there. You understand? You got a big smile on your face after a tie. I'm talking to a 3-time Super Bowl champion. I'm talking to the Playmaker. I'm talking to a Hall of Famer. I'm talking to the star of The Gambler, Jerry Jones and his Cowboys on Netflix, which is absolutely hilarious. You stole a damn show. I hope they should have paid you half the damn budget for it. You were hilarious. You were special, brother. It was hysterical. Absolutely crazy. That's what I'm talking to. My Lord, what has happened to you? You're just acting like you're just throwing logic out of the window. You're celebrating moral victories. Michael Irvin.
Stephen A. A star, Stephen A. You got to remember, I've ran the whole gamut. I've seen it all. I didn't just get placed in places and we were automatically winning championships. I got placed in places like right here that were pretty bad and we had to grow it to a championship. So me, myself, break down the whole process. You yourself and the rest of the stuff worlds out here, y'all only looking at the outcome. See, you only talk about who can and who did and who didn't. I talk about how to, and I can see all the little things as I show you how to, and that's what I'm seeing in the Dallas Cowboys. Now, yes, granted, you got to put it all together and make it work at the same damn time. But I'm telling you, I see some how to already in this team.
You see some how to? when you ain't been.
How to do it?
Now imagine it's been
How to
29
do it?
years.
How to get there?
It's been 29 years. In Dak's case, it's been 10 years. You and I have had many conversations over the how-tos. You understand? And now you saying you see the how-tos, and you talked about that, and it hasn't happened. I mean, when do you get tired of getting your heart broke?
But Stephen A., you helped me with this, man. This is why I like talking with you. You just helped me. You just said, "Oh, I see the how-to, but it hasn't happened." Right. So what we talked about, and even you yourself said it. Dak has done well in these regular seasons, but okay, when we get to the postseason, what is it like? What is the how-to in a postseason? That's where the pressure comes in, right? You got to make great plays under a lot of pressure consecutively and consistently. That's what you do in the playoffs to become greatness. That's what Tom Brady and them do. That's what you always question about that. And it's a fair question. But what I'm telling you is this year, his how-to is going to get him so much time dealing in pressure. You understand what I'm saying? He's going to have to put up 40 points a game. That's a lot of time living with pressure. You know what I'm saying? And when I'm real close to pressure don't bother me anymore. And when I get in the playoffs and it's pressure time, then she is my lover and not my enemy. And we love our way through those games. Yes, I'm with you. This is what I see when I'm talking about growing. I see Dak living and then loving and learning about pressure because he'll see it again in the playoffs.
Oh my God. This is unbelievable. I cannot believe I'm listening to you say this. So having said that, okay, the Dallas Cowboys are going to make the playoffs. Before I let you get on out of here, what are you seeing? Who do you see as the number one obstacle to the Cowboys, the Eagles, and the NFC?
And this is good. This is good because we see Detroit, and Detroit is another team that's trying to take a step and try to say, wait a minute, we've been here and we hadn't gotten it done. There's a maturity about it. And look how they started their first week. And everybody was ready to say, oh God. But they're showing up. They're showing up, man, and they're growing through the how-tos. No more listening to anybody else. This is our team. We're going to take it over and do what we have to do. Even hey, Goff looks like he looks like I ain't listening to you guys no more. I'm doing my thing and go and get it. That's what I think. And I like what I'm seeing with Detroit trying to take it. It reminds me of the year with Barry. After, the first year went bad, then we said, oh, we got to take it and do what we got to do with this. That's what I'm seeing in Detroit now.
What are you seeing in the AFC? Is it about the Bills? Do you believe the Ravens could resurrect themselves? Or is it about the Chiefs once they get Rashee Rice back, now that they got Xavier Worthy back, and we must have forgot this is the team that all things through the AFC must come through?
And I like last week, it was like they were talking about how much man coverage they're giving Patrick Mahomes. And Stephen, a man like Patrick Mahomes sees man coverage as that looking down, oh, you think this of me? Oh, you just gonna leave this thing wide open. But they've had to go into the kitty and get rid of players. And we just keep letting them take lesser players, but we got the same results. So then they got to go back in the kitty. Then they got to the place where, okay, these guys can't do it. And you saw the stress on that offense. It didn't look like anything Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid would have anything to do with. And then they just got Xavier Worthy because he's the speed guy that puts fear and tell you guys, back up. Let this old guy make some plays and Travis Kelce. So they got something going on offense again.
Mike, let me tell you something. I got to get ready to go. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to join the show. Thank you so much. I wanted to troll you. You are absolutely right. I had every intention of ambushing you. I thought that I had you, and then the damn Green Bay Packers defense forgot to show up. I mean, I'm so disgusted with them. It's hard to even put into words how they let me down. But it is what it is, and I get it. I understand it. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much, my brother. You take it easy, all right?
All right, but I got to come see your studio and everything, man. I appreciate you. Love you, brother. Be safe.
Same here, man. We'll talk soon. Take it easy. The one and only Michael Irvin right here on the Stephen A. Smith Show, Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. 888 Mad Dog 6 is always the number to call up. That's 888-623-3646. Listen, this is unbelievable. It's really unbelievable that I have to even deal with this guy, but it is what it is. I got it. I understand it. You know, he's feeling himself right now with the Dallas Cowboys. It won't last though. To all you Dallas Cowboy fans out there, I promise you it will not last. Trust me. Enjoy the moments right now. You still only won 2-1 on the season. I mean, the Eagles are 4-0. Still only won 2-1 on the season. He's talking playoffs. This is what Cowboy fans do. He's talking playoffs. And he's talking about Dak Prescott embracing pressure. And all of a sudden, he's talking about what they're going to do. Oh, stop it. Give me a damn break. But it is what it is, so I'll leave it alone. I'm waiting for a special guest to come on the show in just a second right now. But until then, you're listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show, Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. 888 Mad Dog 6 is always the number to call up. That's 888-623-3646. Plus, you could also make sure to send in a voicemail message if you can't get on the line directly. Go to SiriusXM.com/get serious. That's SiriusXM.com/get serious. Hopefully, when I come back, we'll have our special guest. Looking forward to talking to him, plus getting to your phone calls as well and getting into NFL Week 4, along with some other matters as well that I definitely have to touch on before the show expires today. So stick around, don't go anywhere. It's the Stephen A. Smith Show, SiriusXM, Mad Dog Sports Radio. Back with more in a minute.
Back to the Stephen A. Smith Show on Mad Dog Sports Radio.
27 minutes past hour number 1 back here in the Stephen A. Smith Show, Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. Before I get to your phone calls at 888 Mad Dog 6, that's 888-623-3646. I got a guest on the line. He is a stout defensive end for the Kansas City Chiefs. He is Mr. George Karlaftis right here with yours truly right here on the Stephen A. Smith Show. George, good afternoon. How are you, man? How's everything going?
I'm great. No complaints. Thank you for having me. Excited I've gotten the win yesterday, and everything's great here in Kansas City.
Man, I really appreciate you coming on the show, and thank you for your time. How are you guys feeling about yourselves after beating the Ravens in the fashion that you did last night? Is it just another game from the standpoint, listen, this is what we can do, this is what we know we can do? Or was it of the mindset like, listen, people are counting us out, we got to remind them who the hell we are? What was that like?
Well, I like that question because I think when we could play the way we played yesterday, offense, defense, and special teams kind of all together and off of each other, I think that there's the sky's the limit for us as a team. The only thing we have to prove to people is that we could win. We could prove that to ourselves every single day. And, that's a heck of a football team we beat yesterday. We have a lot of respect for them. We've seen them, and it's been close games every time we've played them the past couple of years. So, we feel good. After watching tape, there's a lot of stuff we can improve and get better on kind of moving forward. And, we're feeling good right now, but we know that there's a lot of work to be done.
What's been the reason for the Chiefs? You're 2-2 on the season, obviously, after an 0-2 start. But what's been the reason that the struggles existed to begin with, in your estimation? Just to start off the season, what would you attribute that to?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that you could say. Just some stuff that just didn't go our way. And flat out, I could just say that we just weren't good enough those first couple games. We found our rhythm in New York, and then we continue that on to next week or to the next week now, the Ravens, and we'll continue that on. But just didn't start off hot, and Coach Reed and the staff challenged us as players to be better. And, there was adversity, and, that there's two things that you could do. You could lay down, or you could step up and come to the plate, and that's what we did. So.
Talk to me about the Super Bowl last year, only from this standpoint. It's one thing to lose. It's another thing to lose in convincing fashion, the way the team did to the Philadelphia Eagles last February. How much did that weigh on the minds of you guys in the offseason and coming into this season? I'm not talking about a loss, because that happens, but the fashion in which you guys lost. I'm interested in knowing how that affected you guys.
Yeah, we had a chance, an opportunity to do something that no other team had done before. So it was a massive motivator in the offseason, kind of driving us in everything we do to get better, to win football games. And it's just a driving factor, a motivating factor. That's what I'd say to that, just because, when you lose in the Super Bowl, when you lose in that kind of fashion, just like you said, it drives you, can't step on a football field without thinking about that moment. And it's going to continue to drive us for all the guys that were here to experience that.
We're talking to George Karlaftis right here with Stephen A. Smith on the Stephen A. Smith Show, Sirius XM, Mad Dog Sports Radio. You know, as I look at this team, one of the things that I spoke up on y'all behalf about was that so many people were looking at the offensive struggles. They're looking at Travis Kelce, who's my brother from another mother. That I love that brother, and he's good people, and I know that he's destined. I know that he's destined for the Hall of Fame or whatever. But when people look and they saw some slippage or whatever, even he acknowledged that. My attitude was, since Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, and Travis Kelce have been on the same team together, which is the start of 2024. They have never all played together. Not one time. Not one time has Patrick Mahomes had all four of those weapons available to him. And we didn't even bring Pacheco or Kareem Hunt into the mix. And I'm saying to myself, imagine once Rashee Rice comes back. Xavier Worthy came back yesterday. Imagine once Rashee Rice comes back. My God, we might have to look out for something. It might be Kansas City reminding everybody, y'all must have forgot who the hell we are. Is that the mentality that the team has right now? Looking forward, especially in the aftermath of Xavier Worthy coming back yesterday?
Look, I know from a defensive perspective, Coach Spags talks about this all the time, and I couldn't agree with him more, that we got all the faith and confidence in 15, Coach Reed, Coach Nagy, and all those guys on the offense, just like you said, to do what they need to do. You know, as a defensive player and from our defensive perspective, if we could keep the offense under a certain amount of points, we know we have a pretty good chance of winning the football game. And that's kind of how we view it. You know, there's all those playmakers like you talk about, and when they're together, it's like lightning in a bottle. So I can't wait for all those guys to get a chance to kind of all suit up and be together, and I think it's going to be awesome.
As you look ahead, I mean, you're in the AFC West now. The Chargers are better than people expected. You can't summarily dismiss the Denver Broncos, of course not, or even to that degree, the Raiders. How are you guys feeling about competition in the AFC West this year compared to last year?
It's a tough division. I mean, it was a tough division last year. You know, we had three of the four teams made it to the playoffs, so that should tell you all you need to know. But when we played, I mean, we beat the Broncos once, lost them once, and when we beat them, it was off of a blocked kick in the last second. And then with the Chargers, we beat them on a last second field goal. So they're all tight games, even with the Raiders too. You know, like tight games all around. You know, it's a tough division, and you know it's the most important. We got to win all the games in our division, or as many as we can. You know, and it's a tough division, just like I keep saying. You know, we got a lot of respect for the teams in our division. They're great coaches, great players. It's going to be tough, and we're good with that.
Well, George, listen, man, I appreciate your time. Thank you for being on the show with me. I really, really appreciate it. I know you're busy. Obviously, just had a big game, big win for you guys yesterday. I didn't expect y'all to beat Baltimore like that, but it happened. I expected you to win, but not like that. Congrats to you. Wishing you the best as this season progresses, and I hope to talk to you again, all right? You take care.
Absolutely. You have a good one. Thank you for having me on.
All right. The one and only George Karlaftis, defensive end for the Kansas City Chiefs, right here on the Stephen A. Smith Show, Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. 888 Mad Dog 6 is always the number to call up. That's 888-623-3646. Let's get to the phones. Let's go to Cologne in New Jersey. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, man? How are you?
Hey, Steve. Thanks for my call. Hey, Steve, you know, I did not like the game in the tie yesterday because, you know, we like the Dallas and Green Bay.
Hold on. You didn't like what? You didn't like what?
That ended in a tie. You know, I've always appreciated the Green Bay and Dallas rivalry throughout the years in the playoffs, especially. You know, but if there is a loser, to me, it's the Green Bay Packers. You know, because I really thought after losing to the Browns, they'll make a statement in this game to take the next step forward.
Embarrassing.
Unlike the Lions, who made a statement last week and continue to make a statement this week against the Browns. So moving forward, you know, my faith is in the Lions to win the division and not the Packers.
Well, listen, you want to hear from the Packers? Listen to this one. Listen to Micah Parsons talking about the Packers defense last night, and you'll get the feeling that what you just expressed is shared. Listen to Micah Parsons here.
I'm not even gonna lie, I'm pissed off. I'm very disappointed overall how we performed. You know, I even told Jordan to the side, you know, thank you for having our back today. That's why it's so pivotal that, you know, you play complimentary football, because today Jordan played like the player he was, and we let him down. We didn't live up to the expectations on defense.
There you have it, Cologne, and he's absolutely right, because the Green Bay's defense was trash. I mean, you're giving up 40 points. Last 4 drives against Dallas, 3 touchdowns and a field goal. Seriously, you can't even get a stop. And if it wasn't for Micah Parsons and tracking down Dak Prescott from behind, y'all, they'd have lost the game. And oh, by the way, how about the last play, before they kicked the field goal to tie it and finish with the final score? How, you know what, they didn't know their ass from their feet, for crying out loud. And you just getting rid of the ball with a few seconds left, and it fell incomplete with 1 second left. Had that hit zero, the Dallas Cowboys win the game because the Green Bay Packers offense was inept. People didn't know where they were. This is not good. It really isn't. Appreciate the call, Cologne. Thank you so much. Let's go to Jay in San Diego. You're live at Stephen A. What's up, Jay? Talk to me. How you doing?
Hey, Stephen A.
All right. What's all that noise, man? What's all that noise? What's all that noise, my brother? Yes, I can. What's going on?
All right, awesome. Jay from San Diego, but sorry. I live in San Diego. Where I'm from is where you started.
Well, let me stop
you. My boy.
Let me stop you. What the hell is it doing that windy in San Diego?
What
the hell is it doing that windy in San Diego?
They had our number. You said Tampa Bay had
our... Hold on. I had a question for you. I said, what the hell is it doing that windy in San Diego?
I'm living in San Diego. I'm from where you started.
I know that, but I was just talking about the wind when you first started talking. But go ahead.
So you said last week at the end of everything, you say, but Tampa Bay may have their number. Tampa Bay.
Because they had their numbers for the last 2-3 years.
Play, punt return. So, Steven, punt return. Okay, literally, we are now the best team in the NFL. It's undeniable.
Well, I'm not going to listen. The Eagles are clearly undefeated, and I think you can make a legitimate argument that they're the best. But I think Detroit's going to have something to say about it. I would pick the Eagles. I would look against anybody right now. I'd pick the Eagles to beat anybody right now, no question. But that doesn't mean there's something that you don't have to watch out for. And let me ask you this question, Jay: how comfortable are you with AJ Brown and him showing his level of unhappiness without getting the football? How are you feeling about the fact that Jalen Hurts, who I believe is a stud, goes 0 for 8 for 0 yards passing in the entire second half, and you got an all-world receiver like A.J. Brown clamoring for more action and more productivity? How you feel? Does that make you feel comfortable, Jay? I don't think it does. I don't think it should. And I think if you're being honest about it, you would agree with it. T in Philadelphia, not T-Love, T in Philadelphia. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, T? How you doing?
I'm good, man, but stop the madness. T-Love's in the house.
No, I ain't giving you no damn T-Love. Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, my man. God bless. Hey, listen, my team, the Eagles, I'm going to make a football prediction. We will not win every game this season, okay?
Wow.
But it won't be because we were supposed to, because we're not supposed to. We are a good team, and it's about time people recognize. I know you recognize we are a good team. We're not the greatest team. We still got time to be that. But we are a good team. We have a great quarterback. And what's happening right now is that the offense is in a little bit of a turmoil. Not because we're not winning, but because it's a new offense with a new offensive coordinator. Okay, it's going to take time for that to gel. Being 4-0 is a plus.
All right, T. You know what? I'm going to say it for the purposes of making, because, it's going to make you feel good. T-Love. How about that? I'm going to say T-Love for once, okay? Here's, bro. Let me throw this by you. First of all, nobody said that the Eagles are not a good team. They're the reigning defending Super Bowl champions. We clearly know they're a good team. My problem is the fact that you're the one saying they're good. Why are you not saying they're great? Why are you not saying they're elite? They're undefeated. In the last 18 games that Jalen Hurts has started and finished, they're 18-0. He's your quarterback. You saw him a couple of weeks ago against LA just take over him with A.J. Brown. You saw them coming back from a 26-7 deficit. You saw all of these things transpiring. You saw them win the game last night. Come out and send a message to Tampa Bay early that, you know what, you're not getting to win today. We saw all of that happen. Why are you tripping over people and calling this team good when they're supposed to be better than good? That's number one. And number two, T, how about this message that A.J. Brown posted, a cryptic Bible verse, Mark 6, chapter 6, verse 11. He posted this on social media. If you're not welcomed, not listened to, quietly withdraw. Don't make a scene, shrug your shoulders, and be on your way. Look, man, that sounds like a dude that's tuning out. If I'm the Philadelphia Eagles, I have to consider trading him because he might not want to be there. How about that, T-Love? How about that?
So I get
Go
the
ahead.
rebuttal. Okay,
Go ahead.
this is the rebuttal. I didn't say it because I want you to say it. I want you to tell it to the people that you work with every day. I want you. I know this already. I want you to say it. I got to make you say it because people ain't going to believe me because my name ain't Stephen A. My name is T. Love. I'm from Philly. Your name is Stephen A. You get the bus. People listen to you. Tell the people again. Okay, I know who we are.
The Philadelphia Eagles are a great team. They're the reigning defending Super Bowl champions and a team I believe should be the favorite to win it all again. But I do think Detroit can take them. I do think Buffalo could give them a run for their money. And I do think with all their horses in tow, a contest against the Kansas City Chiefs would definitely be a bit tougher than it was last year. No doubt about that. But I'm asking you, what about your thoughts about A.J. Brown and the kind of effect he could end up having on this team because he's clearly unhappy? Are you concerned about that at all? See, guys run when I ask them these tough questions. They really, really do. By the way, before I get back to the phone calls, let me transition to a couple of things before I go to break. Number one, I want to bring up the Ryder Cup because USA lost to the Europeans, and we get that. They wet the bed the first 2 days, stormed back big time, but it wasn't enough. And they ended up losing. That still wasn't the story. The story was the classless behavior USA, the fans of Team USA was showing. To the point where reportedly Rory McIlroy had beer thrown at him and his wife. Now, that's just embarrassing. And when Rory McIlroy speaks on it, it's pretty damn bad. I mean, what could you possibly say? You know what? Rather than me put it into my own words, I want you to listen to one of the world's greatest golfers talk about fans here in America at the Ryder Cup and how they acted. Listen to this, please.
Golf should be held to a higher standard than what was seen out there this week. Golf has the ability to unite people. Golf teaches you very good life lessons. It teaches you etiquette. It teaches you how to play by the rules. It teaches you how to respect people. And sometimes this week we didn't see that. So, no, this should not be what is acceptable in the Ryder Cup. But, we will be making sure to say to our fans in Ireland in 2027 that, what happened here this week is not acceptable. And it's, for me, it's, come and support your home team. Come and support your team. I think if I was an American, I would be annoyed that I didn't hear a lot of shouts for Scotty today, but I heard a lot of shouts against me. And it's like, support your players. That's the thing. So, look, it was a rough week for all of us. But at the same time, we shut them up by our performance and how we played. And we tried to, I chirped back a few times because it got to me a few times, but we tried to handle everything that came our way with class and poise. And for the most part, I felt like we did that.
Amen. Amen. Listen, it's USA today. It's USA for me all day, every day. If you're playing in Olympic competition, international competition of any sort, I'm always rooting for America. But that doesn't give us the license to act like a bunch of assholes. That's just some inexcusable stuff, and it's an embarrassment. An international embarrassment when the biggest story emanating out of the Ryder Cup is unruly, classless behavior displayed by our fans. Now, we live in different times for sure. And we live in a time where things are a bit acerbic, a bit abrasive, unnecessarily so. and we look at extremism from time to time, and everybody complains about that other stuff. And then they'll look at politics, they'll look at our president and others, and they'll blame them. Damn that BS. You're an adult. Don't point the finger or blame at somebody else as a cause for how you elected to act. You represent the United States of America, and right now on the world stage, we've regressed to an international embarrassment because of how even citizens in this country noticed how fans at the Ryder Cup were acting. But you don't think about that. You don't think about how it will reflect on us as a nation, as a people. That our core decency will come into question because you acting like that on a world stage. You should be ashamed of yourselves. You should be ashamed of yourselves. And I don't want to hear about the climate, as bad as it is. And I don't want to hear about politicians and all of this other stuff. You're a damn adult. You were in attendance. And if you elected to act like a hooligan, shame on you. Where's your decency? Where's your self-respect? See, we don't say this enough, but we need to. Because that inexcusable nonsense has to stop. And it's never going to unless you call people out. I mean, for Rory McIlroy, that he's going to go back to Ireland and implore his people not to act like the Americans acted. You think that makes us look good? And then they shut us up by beating us, despite the vitriol that was thrown in their direction. It's inexcusable. It's inexcusable. On the flip side, I want to applaud Jay-Z, the hip-hop mogul extraordinaire, who's also in charge for halftime entertainment for the Super Bowl, as he has been for years. And they have announced that Bad Bunny is going to highlight the Super Bowl halftime act. Now, before anybody tries to speak foolishly, lacking in appreciation for Bad Bunny, whose name is Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio, it's going to be the first time he's headlined a Super Bowl halftime show, even though he previously appeared as a guest in the Super Bowl 54 halftime show with Shakira and Jennifer Lopez. He's Puerto Rican. He's a Puerto Rican singer. He's the most streamed artist in the world. He's 31 years of age, has 10 U.S. Grammy nominations with 3 wins. And I'm just thinking about him, the most streamed artist on Spotify and everything like that. The brilliance of Jay-Z and what he's doing here is that you're talking about a global iconic figure that's going to be performing for halftime at the Super Bowl at a time when friction exists and the world seems to be coming apart. He grabs an artist that has international appeal, known for being a conscientious observer and socially active, who sings about bringing people together. I love it. I think it's a fantastic idea by Jay-Z. Fantastic. And major props to him for pulling this off. I think we'll all be better off for it. Bad Bunny, the headliner for the halftime show for Super Bowl 60 coming up. Cannot wait. Cannot wait. 888 Mad Dog 6 is always the number. Call up. This is 888-623-3646. Back with your calls to close out the hour in a minute. You're listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show, Sirius XM, Mad Dog Sports Radio. See you in a sec.
Think you have what it takes to debate Stephen A? Call the show at 888 Mad Dog 6. Here's Stephen A. Smith.
54 minutes past hour number 1 back here on the Stephen A. Smith Show, Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. Let's get back to your phone calls at 888 Mad Dog 6. That's 888-623-3646. But before I do that, let me make sure I touch on some of your voicemail messages that you may have left me. Remember, you can go to SiriusXM.com/GetSerious to leave your voicemail messages. Once again, that's SiriusXM.com/GetSerious to leave your phone calls. Let's go to a voicemail message that was left for me to see what Charles Jones in Covington, Georgia had to say to me.
Green Bay now has a tie on their record, and guess what? That could probably come into the NFC playoff picture when it comes to the Chicago Bears going on a win streak under Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson. And guess what? Ben Johnson is that guy. You guys are going to stop the bad talk about Ben Johnson, man. Come on.
About who? I guess he meant Ben Johnson, right? I mean, that's what I'm thinking he's meant because, listen, here's the bottom line. Give props where props is due. Chicago Bears have now won a couple of games in a row. They deserve props, beating the Raiders yesterday. And I'm losing all faith in the Raiders. I mean, you got Tom Brady, you got Pete Carroll there, you got Geno Smith, who's an upgrade from what you had at the quarterback spot before, you're still losing games. I mean, damn. And then you got a bye week, being 2-2 on a year. You got a bye week, and then after that, I'm sorry, not that you're not the Vegas. I'm talking about the Las Vegas Raiders right here. I'm like you're 1-3 on the year, and then after that you got Indy and Tennessee and Kansas City coming up. So you're gonna lose 2 of those next 3 games. I mean, we can't expect anything from Tennessee. Even their quarterback calls them ass right now, and those were his words, not mine. So that's what you're dealing with right now. I would tell you that that's a respectable take of what you're saying about the Chicago Bears because I can't rule them out. They've won 2 in a row. You got a bye week. Then you're at Washington. You got New Orleans, likely be 3-3 after those 2 games. You got Baltimore and Cincinnati. You might be 4-4 after those games. You got the Giants who no longer have Malik Neighbors because the MRI came through. He's got a torn ACL, so he's out for the year. So, I mean, you just look at it from that standpoint. Chicago's got a chance. I'm not going to put them ahead of Green Bay or anything like that. I'm not going to be blasphemous, but in the same breath, they do have a chance. I can't deny that. Let's get back to the phone calls at 888 Mad Dog 6. Matt in Indiana, you're live with Stephen A. Talk to me.
Stephen A., hey, I just want to make a comment about the Cowboys. So last week I watched them do the running play with CeeDee Lamb, their biggest threat, getting hurt, having someone with that build being hit by defensive linemen and linebackers. And what do they do this last night? The same damn thing going the other way. I can't remember if it was Pickens or Turbin. It sounds like the Cowboys are never going to be able to get out of their own way. What would you do with CeeDee Lamb already hurt if you take Pickens or Turbin away from Zach? I'd like to know who's calling the plays and why they continue to run that play, and they can't realize someone who's 190 pounds can't take the abuse from defensive linemen and linebackers.
That's fair. That's smart on your part. You're absolutely right. But Dallas does have one of the more prolific offenses in the game. Dak Prescott is playing like an MVP candidate right now, albeit early. CeeDee Lamb is a $136 million receiver when healthy. I mean, it is what it is. And let me be very, very clear. What the hell were you doing running him out of the backfield and giving him the ball on a running play to begin with? That ain't what he's paid to do. He's paid to be a wideout and to deal with safeties and cornerbacks, not linebackers and defensive linemen coming out of a backfield. So I thought it was very stupid on the part of the Dallas Cowboys, but that's just where I'm standing with it. Dallas can't be ruled out, though, because their offense is prolific. I'll give you the last word real quick. Leon in Texas, you're live with Stephen A. Go ahead real quick before I get to hour number 2. Go ahead.
Hey, what's going on, Stephen A.? Huge fan of yours. Hey, I want to thank you for mentioning Bad Bunny, by the way, because all I've seen since they announced that show is nothing but ignorance and racism all over social media. Bad Bunny's going to destroy that stadium. Anyway, I want to get to the Titans. I'm literally coming back from Houston right now after watching that debacle. At what point does this coach just get shown the door? They need to show his father the door. He was supposed to be some kind of offensive line guru. Our offensive line is terrible. Cam has been sacked more than any quarterback probably this year so far. The team is extremely undisciplined. We're probably the most penalized team in the league right now. At what point does the management and ownership of the Titans just sit back and say, hey, it's time to go? And obviously no interim coach is going to right the ship this year. This year's pretty much done.
Right.
We're going to get another.
We're running out of time, so I got to go, Leon. I appreciate where you're coming from, and I don't blame you for feeling the way that you feel. They shouldn't have got rid of Mike Vrabel. If we're being honest about it, if we're being straight up about it, they shouldn't have got rid of Mike Vrabel. And Cam Ward has already been sacked 17 times in 4 games. Lord have mercy. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad, which he acknowledged. I see no hope in her rising. You might be right about those changes they need to make. Hour number 2 up next with your calls and more. Until then, peace.
Unfiltered.
I'm not sold. I'm sorry.
Unapologetic.
I'm not trying to talk about him.
Unlike anyone else.
But knowing y'all
will probably make me.
This is the Stephen A. Smith Show.
Welcome back to the Stephen A. Smith Show. 2 minutes past hour number 2 back here on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. 888 Mad Dog 6 is always the number to call up. That's 888-623-3646. In approximately 15 minutes or so, we're having star running back Bijan Robinson of the Atlanta Falcons on the show with us. I can't wait to talk to that brother. He is special. My God, he is special. That brother is talented. What Atlanta's going to do, they made amends after getting blown out by the Carolina Panthers of all teams. They showed up yesterday and handled their business, so props to them. We'll be talking to him about all of that and then some in just a few minutes. But I wanted to get back to the calls because of what I had to say about the Ryder Cup, what I had to say about Bad Bunny, what I had to say about some NFL stuff. And I wanted to say this real quick about the New York Mets. What a collapse. What an epic, epic collapse. Now, I won't mention his name, but I got security here, but I won't mention his name because you don't want to expose how big, powerful men are reduced to tears when their team stinks, when they just play like trash when it counts most. You see the most powerful, vibrant individuals reduced to mush. And that's what, my security, he's that dude, except for when it comes to the Mets. He just goes into hiding. He can't take it. Then he comes up with, stuff like, you know what, your Yankees will only be playing a couple of more days than us. Well, damn it, they're in the playoffs and you're not. And that's usually the narrative that we're saying about the New York Mets, and that's where we are again. Ladies and gentlemen, in June, they were 45-24 with the best record in the major leagues and the best ERA. And since then, they went like 38-55. They were the 5th worst team in Major League Baseball with a horrible ERA double, over 5.27 or something like that. I don't recall ever seeing a pitching staff, an entire pitching staff that couldn't get out of the 3rd inning. They were just awful. And that's why they're home. They had a 10-game lead over the Cincinnati Reds for a playoff spot, and they lost it. What a collapse. So it's just really, really bad. What can you say? You didn't expect that from the Mets, but that's what they gave you. My Yankees are in again, and I'm feeling good because I think the Yankees got a chance because they got pitching for a change, even though the Red Sox have had their ways with the Yankees, and who knows what that's going to materialize into. We shall see. 888 Mad Dog 6 is the number. Call up this 888-623-3646. Let's go to back to the phones. Let's go to Jerry in California on the Ryder Cup. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Jerry?
Stephen, thank you again for taking my call, Stephen A. And it's an honor to talk to you. And I really love your baseball commentaries. I'm looking forward to what you have to say during the playoffs. But the Ryder Cup situation, Stephen, and you can have your wonderful producer look this up. I'm sorry, I'm coming ill-prepared to you because I don't know the comedian's name, but she was the MC of the ceremonies there at the Ryder Cup. She got fired because she was part of that unruly behavior by those people toward Rory McIlroy, to the point where Rory had to swear back at him. She was part of that, and she was representing the PGA Tour and the Americans, and she was part of that. And they had to take her away from her MC duties for Sunday.
So an MC for the Ryder Cup, employed by the Ryder Cup, had to be taken away because she was speaking belligerently towards Rory McIlroy?
Exactly. And she's a comedian.
Oh,
I don't know her. I mean, Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, those guys were my guys.
All of our guys.
Carlin,
all of our guys.
All of our guys.
Yes.
Stephen, I don't know her name. I read it and I don't recognize her. That's not her fault. That's my fault that I'm not up on the times. But she had to be removed as the MC.
Inexcusable.
Because
inexcusable. People don't know how to act. People don't know how to act. It's inexcusable, Jerry.
No. And your wonderful producer can look that up and get her name. And you may recognize her. I don't. But
okay.
But I just want to make that point, and you have a great show. I'll let you get back to your callers.
Thank you so much, Jerry. I appreciate it. Call anytime, buddy. It's just inexcusable. What's wrong with us? What's wrong with us? We don't know how to act. I mean, you know how to be a fan. It doesn't mean, you can boo, you can cheer, vociferously for one side over the other. You throwing beer at people's wives, cussing people out, going off, don't know how to mind your manners or your language. And Rory McIlroy is 1,000% right, especially in the sport of golf. Etiquette's the order of the day. You don't know how to act on a golf course? I mean, you can't make this up. You cannot make this up. This is why when you saw Russell Westbrook or LeBron James or somebody have people removed from games, I didn't blame them one bit. You got a whole bunch of assholes in this world. And this is what they do. They pay to go to an event, and they try to act like they have a license to do anything. But then they get inebriated. They start drinking and stuff like that because you want to be able to have that as a fallback excuse just in case you get called out on the carpet. Oh, it really wasn't me. I was just under the influence. I'm sorry. No, your ass wanted to act like that. And you used alcohol as cover for an excuse to display your juvenile tendencies. It's ridiculous. And America is embarrassed. They are talking about America this way. And this is why we got to all hold everybody accountable for this stuff. There's nothing wrong with knowing how to act. There's a time and a place for everything, for most things rather. Some things there should never be a time and a place for. And we should all, as human beings, children of God, have the mentality to know which is which. This is ridiculous. Watching the Ryder Cup, looking at Scotty Scheffler he's going to handle his business, which he did yesterday, but I wish he would have Friday and Saturday. I mean, you're just looking at these guys. Instead of looking at that, we hearing this stuff. We are an international embarrassment today. Period. Roy in Oklahoma, you're live with Stephen A. Go ahead.
Hey, Mr. Smith, I appreciate you taking my phone call. I just want to commend you on the ability to say the hard stuff. Americans, we don't, I was in the service for quite some time, and I spent some time overseas in different countries, and that's the voices you hear lamented that is that Americans are spoiled, and we are very entitled, and we do what we want. That's across the world globe. That was before the Ryder Cup. My personal opinion, I think the reason that the way that we are is the way we are is because people are afraid to get in trouble. People are afraid of other people standing up. Everybody's too busy picking up a phone wanting to record something to put it on a 10-minute or 10-second TikTok.
Damn it, Roy. You hit the nail on the head. That's my call of the year thus far. You hit it right on the head. I can't believe I forgot to mention it. You're right, Roy. That's what they're doing. Because what they want to do is create a reaction so they can put it on YouTube, get some clicks, and make some money off of it.
Yes, sir. And that's the world we live in.
Absolutely right. You're absolutely
when you
right.
Look across any platform, any social media platform, it's like that across all of them. It's not just one in particular. Everybody's all about the shock value of what I can say or what I can do to see what I can push the buttons on everybody. People are afraid to get hit in the mouth anymore, for lack of better words.
And we don't need to be encouraging that either, because in this day and age, Roy, you're not wrong, but they'll take it further than what you meant it to be taken. Because that's the trifling ass society that we're living in right now. But we got to come together, man. I'm talking about human decency. I'm not talking about, listen, everybody's got their proclivities. Everybody's got, what they like, what they don't like, people they want to hang around, people they don't want to hang around. I'm not talking about stuff like that. I'm talking about where we should have common ground is with our humanity. We should know what the lines of decency are, and we should all be in agreement as to when they are crossed. We should have an idea of what decorum is. and what is too damn excessive or is wrong and belligerent and vile. We should know the difference. And we can't leave it up to so-called leaders, politicians, or anybody else. Damn it, we're American citizens. Me and you, Roy, and the rest of us. We're our own adults. We're one human community. We should be able to tell the difference. We should.
It takes a village.
It takes a village. Roy, I appreciate you, man. Call back anytime, buddy. David in Maryland, you're live with Stephen A. Talk to me, David. What's up?
Well, two things, Stephen A. Just one, I want to reiterate. You know, if Deion had let Shador be drafted by the Ravens, a top-class organization, he'd be starting the next two games.
Well, stop. Let me stop you right there. David, I don't want you to be confused. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying it's perfectly understandable why at that moment in time that kid may have thought differently.
No, but I think it was Deion telling him not to go to the Ravens, and I think
that may have played a role. But even Deion is one of the greatest athletes who has ever lived. If he's looking at another great athlete and he's saying he's never coming out of the game, he's durable, he's reliable, and he's phenomenal, so you'll never see the light of day on the field. That's not beyond the realm of comprehension. So what I'm saying to you is that I understand why you would disagree. A lot of us might, but it doesn't make Deion or Shador wrong for saying I might want to be in a situation where I conceivably would see me having a chance to play down the road. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Ryder Cup. You know, I blame a little bit of the American behavior at tournaments on the PGA itself. You know, they sponsor the Waste Management Open, which encourages the behavior that we saw at the Ryder Cup of throwing beers on the...
Explain it. I'm not quite understanding your point. Explain that. Explain that, David. Go ahead.
There is a tournament every Super Bowl weekend.
Okay.
And it goes off early on Sunday mornings. It's the Waste Management Open. And it's all, what do they call it? Stadium seating. And on one of the holes, there are beers and cups and everything being thrown out onto the course. And the PGA has encouraged this for years now. So I think they deserve a little responsibility for for how the American fans are acting at golf tournaments. I blame them.
Okay, listen, you know what? I don't know how accurate that is, but I don't blame you, David, because anything that remotely contributes to the disrespect, the penchant to be vile and disgusting and rude and stuff like that needs to be addressed. And we need to ward that off at the path any chance we get. And if that's what you think contributes to it, that might be a valid point. But I know this much, at the end of the day, all of us need to be able to come together in terms of drawing those lines in the sand as to what is appropriate and what is not. So let me give extreme examples, okay, that we would all agree with. We'd all agree that if we were walking in the streets and we saw a man putting his hands on a woman, that we wouldn't tolerate that. We'd all agree that if we saw a child alone and an adult came up to them in very menacing fashion, and it wasn't an adult that they knew, that we would jump to that child's defense and made sure we do what we could to protect it, male or female. You know, I'm just saying, I'm using extreme examples to point to the fact that from a societal perspective, we all must come together and know where the lines are drawn, where decency is shoved aside and we need to reel it back in. That there's certain behavior that you should not be allowed to get away with. Like, y'all could sit up there, and I remember the whole Jimmy Kimmel thing went on last week and all of this other stuff. I've said about working for Disney something that I'm very, very proud to say. And that's not to say that everything is perfect, because it never is anywhere in any place that you work for. And I think that I speak for SiriusXM when I say this as well. Looking at these people here at SiriusXM, I mean, damn, you could talk about good stuff, but these people are exceptional. They really, really know their stuff, and they know what the hell they're doing. And anybody that's going to work in concert with them has to get on the ball. And if you don't know what the hell you're doing, you better figure it out quick, fast, and in a hurry, because they will leave you behind, because they know what the hell they're doing. And I bring that up to say this line that I want all of y'all to hold on to, especially when it comes to somebody like me, because I firmly believe this. Any day of the week, I would much rather work for someone with standards than someone looking for them. I'm going to repeat that. I would rather work for someone with standards than someone looking for them. The reason why is because when you're working for someone with standards, whether it's behaviorally or beyond, there's a line where a light bulb pops in your head that you better not cross. And some people may choose to cross it anyway, but most people won't. You know why? Because that's embedded in their brain, in their head. They know better. That happens when you're working for people with standards and you're not left to your own volitions, your own proclivities, your own devices. No, you answer to somebody based on standards. Once upon a time, that was America. Once upon a time, America was like, nah, we ain't having that. Now it's one or two extremes. Everything goes or nothing matters enough. Either is wrong. And the Ryder Cup typified that. There's no excuse for the kind of behavior those European players, specifically Rory McIlroy, described. It is inexcusable, it is unacceptable, and it should never, ever, ever be tolerated or embraced, period. And that is that. Hopefully when we come back, Bijan Robinson of the Atlanta Falcons will be here in attendance with yours truly, at least on the phone. That's what I'm talking about. You're listening to the Stephen A. Smith Show, SiriusXM Mad Dog Sports Radio. Back with more in a minute.
Back to the Stephen A. Smith Show.
23 minutes past hour. Number 2 back here on the Stephen A. Smith Show, SiriusXM Mad Dog Sports Radio. 888 Mad Dog 6 is always the number to call up. That's 888-623-3646. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor and privilege to have this brother on the line right now. First round pick of the Atlanta Falcons in 2023, 8th overall pick, one of the best running backs in the game. The brother's skilled. It's just that simple. He's a skilled brother who should have the ball in his hands a hell of a lot more if the Atlanta Falcons are hoping to go someplace. I'm talking about the one and only Bijan Robinson. What's going on, big time? How are you, man? How's everything?
Man, I'm doing awesome, bro. Man, it's good to talk to you.
Man, it's good to talk to you. It's good to talk to you. I'm watching you juke and dance and do all the things that you have been doing. Man, you something special, my brother. Congratulations on your success thus far in the NFL, your 3rd season. How are you feeling about where your game is at this particular moment in your career?
Yeah, man. I mean, obviously it's been a blessing. Just the journey that I've been on these past 3 years, and the growth that's been happening. I feel like I can do more. Like, obviously, I would say that just because, we're not where we want to be. We haven't made where we want to be as a team yet. Like, we're obviously trying to do some big things. But for me, like, continue to grow in my game and to do it for this team. And, I know God's given me an ability to go out on that field and help in the pass game, run game. Like, you put me up, wherever you got to put me to be successful. But, I think if I just continue to do the little things right, like, man, the sky can be the limit. So, I gotta keep on improving every single day, man.
When you modeled your game, looking at yourself and what you bring to the table, I mean, we always ask this question, but it's important because obviously predecessors mean something because they give us an idea of what we can do and most importantly, what we want to do. When you think about if somebody looked at you and you felt like you wanted to model your game after somebody that came before you, who was that player that came to your mind?
I would say LT. I'll say he's
LaDainian Tomlinson.
Yeah,
you know, there's another LT in New York.
Make sure.
That ain't,
Yep.
so, you know, I
yeah,
got you.
LaDainian. Definitely him, just because of how he affected the game and all over the field, whether it's pass game or the run game. And then another guy is like Marshall Faulk. You know, I feel like just how he can line him up and how he's just a threat all over the field. That's how I model my game. Because I'm just so big on, you know, doing it all. Like, you know, I tell a lot of running backs nowadays, like, you can't just be a running back. Like, you have to be effective in the pass game. You got to, you know, pass block. You got to be effective in the run game. So, you know, for me, like, the guys that, you know, came before me that did it all over the field, like, that's who I model my game after the most. So those two are definitely some guys who I look at and continue to study and take, you know, little things out of their game.
You know, Bijan, we're talking to Bijan Robinson, star running back for the Atlanta Falcons, and I said star running back, and damn it, that's what I meant. 14 plus 100 yards carry, you rushing the football last year, and I couldn't wait to ask you this question because I'm looking at the numbers from your rookie year to last year. You had about 214 carries your first year. Last year was over 304. Are you concerned about workload when you describe what you just described? Because unlike any other position in football, I've never seen anything like it. In football, particularly at the running back position, it's like the more you do, the less you're appreciated in the aftermath while it's happening, sure. But then next year, it's like, oh, we did put a lot on his body. And regardless of how you look, they want to hold your back. They want to say you don't deserve X, Y, and Z. As a running back in the National Football League, do you find yourself concerned about that, the lack of appreciation because of how running backs are judged in the NFL in terms of their age?
Yeah. You know, I'm glad you brought that up. Like, I feel for me, how I look at things is if you do what you're supposed to do for your team, I feel you'll be appreciated no matter what. I know the running back position has become like devalued and you know, a lot of sorts, but you know, from the past couple years, 2 or 3 years, man, like the running back's been the guy that gets the offense going, that gets all the big offenses going. You know,
that's right.
Especially if you have a guy that can be just as effective in the pass game. Like you're unlocking so many different things, and it's starting to become harder for defenses to know where that guy is on the field. And you know, I'm glad that the running back position is starting to become more appreciated and looked at. And I mean, hopefully it continues to become, you know, a position that like everybody sees and everybody, you know, saw how it used to be like back when Adrian Peterson was playing, like, you know, these other running backs, you know, LT, like all those guys. But for me, man, like, you know, it's my, you know, job to tell the guys that are coming like behind me, like, dude, like these people, these, you know, GMs and stuff like that, like they want guys that can be effective all over the field. Because if not, then you're just going to be looked at as just another guy that they can replace, just another guy that they can get from elsewhere. So, you know, I think there's a lot of great running backs out there. But I feel like we're starting to look at just a transition and you know how effective the position can be, and when you do have a great run game, you know, just how much better your offense is.
We're talking to Bijan Robinson right here from the Atlanta Falcons, right here on the Stephen A. Smith Show, Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. The man knows of what he speaks. In just 4 games, 64 carries for 314 yards, averaging nearly 5 yards a carry, but also has 18 receptions, targeted 23 times, 18 receptions, 270 yards. So it speaks to what you were talking about with you being a dual threat. Obviously, if they give you the ball more, that improves their chances of winning, right? You won yesterday against the Washington Commanders, which a lot of people didn't see coming after what happened the previous week. Would you mind explaining to the football world how in the hell did the Atlanta Falcons lose 30-0 to the Carolina Panthers over a week ago? How'd that happen?
Yeah, I mean, it was a couple of different things, man. Like, you know, we came in, and I feel like we came in ready to go, which we did. Like, we came in on a high note, and you know, I told my teammates, I was like, bro, like, we can't ever come in when everybody's talking about us from the Vikings game the week before, and you know, the big head and all of us listening to this like information, like, you know, we have to come in to the Panthers game doing the same things, doing the same what we did the week before. But man, I mean, the execution just wasn't where we wanted it to be. We started the ball on their 20 a lot of the drives. So it was a lot of little details that we couldn't get our way out of. And they just, came in and, delivered. They beat us, fair and square, man. And it just seemed like we couldn't get it going how we wanted to get going. So, it was a tough week last week. We really came together. I feel like God does everything for a reason. So I feel like we really came together last year. Last week.
Last week.
Yep. And it really did help us as a team, and it really did bring us together so we could, put a performance like we did yesterday in front of everybody.
Before I let you get on out of here, just a couple of questions before I let you go, Bijan. I'm looking at Michael Penix Jr. The brother can play. Play. He ain't a scrub.
Absolutely.
And I'm happy that he's your starting quarterback. But you ever see those quarterbacks that just seem too damn cool? I mean, it's like you're looking for the fire in their belly, but they just seem too cool. I mean, is it us when we're looking at him? It just seems that no matter, he's not affected by the pressure or anything like that. Yeah. But in the same breath, you're looking for that emotion when things go wrong or when cats are missing assignments or whatever. You don't get any of that from Michael Penix Jr. Is that something we should be concerned about, or should we just let it fly because the brother's so skilled he'll figure it out?
Yeah, man. I would say just let it fly. That's just who Mike is. He's always been like that. He's always been just calm under pressure. He's not one to raise his voice. He's just gonna talk to you if somebody ran a route wrong, he'll be like, "Hey, brother, just do this next time." He ain't trying to scream or none of that. So, I think with him, man, he's been playing college football. He's been playing football for a long time. So, just the experience and, what he's trying to do and how he's trying to handle himself, he's always been that guy to do that. So for us, it's our job to be on and to, know our assignments and know everything that we're supposed to do around him. So he can just let his game speak for itself. And, we don't got to get him out of his comfort zone and trying to do, extra. But I feel like, man, he's handling it really well. This is his seventh game. So I even told him, I was like, bro, you got to take it 1 week at a time. And, when you do that, then everything's just going to unlock.
Look at you.
Slow. Yeah,
Look at you, Bijan. Bijan, you 23 years old and you leading the way. See, this is what I'm talking about. See, you got it already. You got it already, bro. We're talking to Bijan Robinson, star running back for the Falcons. Listen, I don't know if you know this about yourself. Do you know that you're leading all players in yards from scrimmage this season with 584?
I've been told that today.
Wow.
I was like, that's not enough. You got to do more.
That's not enough. Okay. All right.
No,
okay.
Cool, it's cool.
Okay.
It just shows what we're trying to do. But I'm gonna take it, like I said, I'm gonna take it 1 week at a time and just keep on improving.
Last question for you. I mean, listen, you opened the season with a loss against Tampa, but it was a close one, 23-20. You beat Minnesota. You lost to the Carolina Panthers. Then you came back and you beat the Washington Commanders. Who are the Atlanta Falcons, and what should America expect from them moving forward? I know y'all got a bye week this week, and then you got the Buffalo Bills and San Francisco next before Miami gives y'all a damn game because they can't play these days. I don't know what the hell's going on in Miami. But what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about your team and what we should expect from the Falcons moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, you're looking at a team that's playing with an edge right now. For us, I told the team, we can never get too big of a head, man. We have to, take every week it's a championship week, and for us, that's how we're going to go in to every single game, because we saw how we didn't do it a couple weeks ago, and we got beat, and we got beat how we didn't want to. So I feel like from here on out, man, we're playing with an edge, man. We're playing in silence. We're not gonna boast about anything. We're going to keep it in the building. And, we want to be obviously the most explosive team on offense and defense. So, playing with that fire, that's what you're going to expect from us, moving forward.
Bijan Robinson, I really mean this when I say that. I've been watching you play. I've been fascinated watching you this season. I should have watched you more last season. I saw you a few times. I knew you had skills. I saw you at Texas. I knew you had skills then too. But I mean, to see what you're doing right now, I can't say enough about how skilled you are, how impressive you are. Keep doing your thing. Oh, by the way, don't think for 1 second I'm going to let you go without asking you about this. Arch Manning, Texas. I mean, anything you want to say about, I mean, what the hell is going on? I mean, they went from talking about him as a Heisman to hoping he'll be a good quarterback. How are folks, how's Longhorn Nation feeling about Arch Manning, meaning Bijan Robinson? What's up?
No, I mean, I feel like, we shouldn't put too much, we shouldn't have put that much big expectation on him. Like, he's still trying to get it together. He's still learning, but I mean, the last game I know it was Sam Houston, but he did put on the show. So
that's true.
This weekend coming up, like we're gonna see. I feel like we got to play competition. So when we start playing this SEC ball, then we'll see what's really about to happen. But if we do what we're supposed to do, like we could take it a long way. We just got to take it like I said with our team. We got to take it 1 week at a time and see what happens. But they're a good team, man. We'll see.
In my opinion, before I let you go, I'm going to tell you this. You don't have to answer this. I'm just going to tell you this. Steve Sarkisian is a damn good coach. He knows offense, and I don't see him really stepping out. I see him being overly cautious with Arch Manning. That's what he needs to stop. He needs to stop and unleash this boy, and let's see what he's got. That's what Steve Sarkisian needs to do.
No, you're right. You're right.
All right.
But like you said, like, he a really good coach, so he knows like his quarterbacks, and he knows what he wants to do. But no, you're right. It's time to unleash everything so we can get these wins.
Bijan Robinson for the Atlanta Falcons. Appreciate you big time. Keep it up, man. You always got a home here anytime you want to holler. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Man, thank you as well, big brother. Yep. Have a good one.
Always. One and only Bijan Robinson for the Atlanta Falcons. The brother can play. Yeah. Y'all need to watch the Atlanta Falcons. Watch when the ball gets in this brother's hands. Bijan Robinson is no joke. He's special. That's why I said, could you call him, please? Could you call him? That brother is special. He really, really is. He can ball. Atlanta got a chance because they in the NFC South. And even though Tampa can ball and Todd Bowles knows what he's doing and Baker Mayfield's been balling out and you got Evans was out, but he's going to be back and Godwin is going to be there and Ibuka is no joke. Atlanta, with him, Drake London and the crew, if Penix shows up, they got a chance. That brother right there is something special. I'm telling y'all. I'm allergic to scrubs. I'm the scrub. I'm a scrub enough. I don't need to interview scrubs. I know what scrubs are, okay? So when you can play, that's when I want you on this show. That's just me. Anyway, let me go to SiriusXM.com/GetSerious. Let's see who's left me some messages right there. You saw what he said about Arch Manning, right? He agreed with me about that, but then Steve Sarkisian doesn't know what he's doing, so we get that part. Joseph Oliver sent me a voicemail message. Listen to this.
Y'all had a lot to say about Alabama when they lost to Florida State. What y'all gonna say now that they beat Georgia? I tried to tell you, Stephen A., that Alabama was a good team. Y'all be hating on them when them boys be losing, but Alabama still is a good team under Kelly DeBoer, and they can still win the SEC. What y'all got to say about that?
You see, here's what I don't like about what you said, Joseph Oliver, and I'm going to give it a respectable take because you're absolutely right, because it's a respectable take, and I get your part, and I understand this, and I got to give love where it's due. Ty Simpson, Alabama, is balling right now. He came into the game complete damn near 90% of his passes over the last few weeks. Completed 24-38 for 276 yards, 2 touchdowns, not a single turnover, an interception, not a single interception. Gunnar Stockton, I expected more from him out of Georgia this year. I'm not sold, no question. Alabama deserves all the credit in the world, and I think you're right. I was wrong. I'm still not sold on Kalen DeBoer. I think you need some Rough Riders when you're going to succeed Nick Saban. You can't bring finesse ball from the Pac-12 to the SEC. That's my personal take. But he did beat Georgia and has now beaten Georgia in back-to-back seasons. All right, beating Kirby Smart. That's a big deal. And Kirby Smart's like 1-7 against Alabama now. 1-7. So, I mean, again, and then the national championship game he won, you got to remember, you understand? Mechie and Jamison Williams, both injured. One got injured a few. Mechie got got injured a few weeks earlier in the SEC championship game. And then Jameson Williams got injured in the national championship game because I thought Alabama would have beat Georgia then. So I'm just saying to you, I'm just looking at it and I'm like, all right, I got it. I see what y'all coming from. I see what y'all saying. But I'm just not sold on it. I'm not sold on Alabama. But that was a big win. And that does and should take some heat off of Kalen DeBoer. No doubt about it. Jake Epstein in East Hampton, he sent me a voicemail message too. Let's hear this.
The New York Mets are the biggest failure and disaster since the Titanic, and Juan Soto is the Edward Smith captaining that sinking ship. Steve Cohen should be indicted and thrown in jail for his dirty money, and this Mets team deserves to implode.
That's a bit extra. I'm just going to say we don't care because I think he was being extra. And listen, it was a big failure. Tell us something we don't know. Titanic, that's engaging in hyperbole. We understand that. Juan Soto did his job. He can't pitch for you. You got pitchers that showed up until the last month or two of the season and then couldn't get out the third inning. How do you explain that? I mean, they were doing fine, and then all of a sudden they collapsed. There's nothing a manager, a general manager, an owner can do. You pay the people to play, all right? You manage them. But when they're doing everything, and then all of a sudden they can't, and their defense wasn't that impressive either. Now that you can point to the managerial issues. You point to that. But the pitching, I'm sorry. I'm just of the mindset, I just can't go there. There's nothing that can explain the collapse that happened with the New York Mets. I can't believe the Cincinnati Reds are in there. No, props to Cincinnati Reds, but y'all ain't who I wanted to see. I wanted to see the Mets against the Dodgers. That's what I wanted to see. But it didn't happen. By the way, to send your voicemail messages in, once again, send to SiriusXM.com/GetSerious. That's SiriusXM.com/GetSerious. Let's go back to the phones. Let's go to, let's see. We're going to go to Bill in South Dakota. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Bill?
Hey, Stephen A.
How are you, sir?
Kudos, man. You're great. You're a great guy, boy.
Thanks,
I wanted to call about. I just heard about this Ryder Cup, but I grew up in the 50s and 60s and 70s, and our life was baseball cards and marbles and a sock.
Okay.
And and Al Kaline and Mickey Mantle, those were our heroes. We tried to play them when we played in the sandlots and everything else. But the influence that professional and college players have on the kids was great for us, and it's still great today. And kudos to you and Mad Dog. You come out and say things that people anymore are afraid to say. We live in a screwed up world.
Well, I can tell you that much. Let me tell you something. You ain't got to worry about me being afraid to say it. I can tell you that much. I can tell you that. What the hell I got a microphone and a camera for if I'm scared to speak? That ain't going to happen. I promise you that. So if that's why you love me, Bill, you're going to fall in love with me because I ain't changing. I ain't changing. I mean, this stuff is ridiculous. You can't have us acting like this and no regard for how our country looks and how our country comes across. Nah, that's inexcusable. We're not doing that, Bill. I appreciate the call so much. Thank you. I really, really do. Let's go to Jared in Rochester. You're live with Stephen A. Real quick, Jared, go ahead.
Hey, Stephen A. Thanks for taking my call. I appreciate it. If you recall, on Friday, I sent the voice message in about the Mets. Obviously, they just looked awful. The Reds we got the help from the Brewers, and they just couldn't perform. And I think it all goes back to June 12th. Here's why. You mentioned the pitching was difficult at the end of the season. June 12th was the exact day that Kodai Senga went down with the injury covering first base, and June 13th is that day with the losing record. And that they have, like you mentioned, the fourth or fifth worst record since June 13th. And I think it all goes back to that Kodai Senga injury with the morale just going down from there.
Okay, you might be right. I appreciate the call, man. Thank you so much. 888 Mad Dog 6 is always the number. Call. That's 888-623-3646. You're listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show, Sirius XM, Mad Dog Sports Radio. Back with your calls to close out the show in a minute.
Back to the Stephen A. Smith Show on Mad Dog Sports Radio. Here's Stephen A. Smith.
49 minutes. Past hour number 2 back here in the Stephen A. Smith Show, Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. Thanks once again to Atlanta Falcons star running back Bijan Robinson for coming on the show, along with defensive end for the Kansas City Chiefs, George Karlaftis. So thanks again to both of them for coming on the show. Really, really appreciate their time out of their busy schedules and all of that. They just had a game yesterday, so I like it. I always want to let the players know they're welcome to come on the show anytime. It's always a home for them. They'll always have an opportunity to speak their piece on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Make no mistake about that. The number to call up as always is 888-MAD-6. That's 888-623-3646. Let's go back to the phones. Let's go to Joe in North Carolina. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Joe? Joe, are you there?
Stephen A. Smith.
Talk to me, Joe. How are you?
There, Stephen A. What's going on, sir? So I'm mad at you. Let me tell you why.
Okay.
So my wife of 43 years never watches sports, never does anything. All of a sudden, Brick comes up, and then all of a sudden she wants to watch all Stephen A. Smith all the time and whatnot. What's going on?
Well, you know,
with
Brick is a very charming character. Brick is a very charming character on General Hospital, if I should say so myself. I mean, ain't nothing wrong with the wifey watching it. Let me tell you something right now. She could love me all day, every day on the soaps. But if she was face to face with me, okay, and tried to show me love, I would stop her in her tracks and say, hold on, does Joe approve? And I would make sure it was all right with you, my brother.
My dude. Second of all, man, you got to give me some for my Cincinnati Reds, man.
Yeah,
they may not be where they are right now, but this is a young team, and they are ready to rock and roll. Look for them 2026.
They look exciting, man.
Be back in better position. That boy is something else. Man, I'm glad you're on here. Without a shadow of a doubt, I appreciate you taking my call. I'm not going to take any more of your time,
right,
Rick. But thank you, bro. Appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Dela Cruz led them in home runs, by the way. 22 home runs, 86 RBIs. Listen, they manufacture. They do what they need to do. The Reds are here. They overcame a 10-game deficit to the New York Mets. They're the ones in the playoffs. And you know what? They can give the Dodgers a run for their money. Don't sleep on them. Don't sleep on them. Let's go to Corey in Illinois. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Corey? How are you?
What's up, Stephen A? Great show, man. Love your show. I'm going to get into it real quick, man. I hear that Chicago Bears fan earlier today. You know, I'm a Raider fan, man, and I'm not happy with what's going on in Vegas with the Pete Carroll show. I'm not happy with what's going on with this offense. But one thing I will say is Ashton Jeanty come out yesterday and he shut some critics up. He come out yesterday and that man come out and balled and he did what he was supposed to do, but what he has been wanting to do, but hasn't happened, Stephen A. But what I'm going to go ahead and say, and I'm going to say this right now: Raiders need to trade Max Crosby because he ain't going to win nothing in Las Vegas. It doesn't matter what that man does.
Hold on, whoa, stop. So what you're saying is Max Crosby is so great, maybe move him to get a multitude of players in return.
Yes, sir. That's what we have to do.
Is that what you're saying?
Because until we address,
because you're not going to win with him anyway.
No, we're not, man. Look, he can have a game like he had yesterday, and we're going to keep it real here. We're going to call it how it is. JT, he didn't touch the quarterback one time. I don't care if he blocked 3 balls. He didn't touch the quarterback one time going against backup offensive linemen. They didn't touch him. They got Caleb Williams one time yesterday. Gino comes out, throws another 3-pick game. I don't know what it's going to take for them to pull the plug on him and Pete Carroll because they didn't want him in Seattle, and we don't want him in Vegas, man.
I got you, Corey, and I understand your frustration. I'm going to let you go, but I'm going to leave you with this. Here's what you're here's the problem. You know, whether it's Jerry Jones with Micah Parsons, whether it's you with Max Crosby or somebody else, everybody's looking for what I call the Herschel Walker effect. Do you remember when the Cowboys traded Herschel Walker years ago to the Minnesota Vikings? He was their best player, and everybody was looking at Jimmy Johnson and Jerry Jones like they were crazy. Why would you trade this guy? Remember, the Vikings had traded 5 players and 8 draft picks, 3 first-round picks, 3 second-round picks, and a 6th-round pick with some conditional picks to the Cowboys for Herschel Walker. Everybody's looking for that. Nobody's going to play that sucker. They saw how the Cowboys went on to win Super Bowls with Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin, and those cats, and how the Vikings are still looking for one. Nobody's falling for that anymore. That ain't happening. That was a long, long, long time ago. Isaac Hope was a part of that trade. Darren Nelson was a part of that trade. Alex Stewart was a part of that trade. I mean, this is what happened. It is what it is. Alex in Miami, you're live with Stephen A. What's up, Alex? How are you?
Stephen A., what's up, bud? How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Hey, Stephen A., I just want to get this off my chest before we talk about the Yankees really quick. I want to say I respect you for what you said the last couple of weeks, not even politically, as a human being. And as Americans, we just need some dialogue between all of us. We could agree and disagree, which I agree and disagree with you a lot. But, man, when dialogue is gone, there goes the American way, and I think we need to get back to that. Absolutely. All right, Stephen A., our Yankees, man.
I'm worried.
Of course, we get the Red Sox out of all teams, man.
I'm worried.
But
I'm worried. I don't want a loss to the Yankees. I don't want a loss to the Red Sox. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah. I hear you. But I think taking 2 out of 3 a couple of weeks ago in the Yankee Stadium was huge. I think
it was huge because at that time I was worried. Before that, I was worried because the Yankees had lost like 8 or 10 of them.
Yes, sir. And I think we need Judge. Regular season Judge to become postseason.
Yes. Preach, Alex.
Step up.
We can't have a 205 batting average Aaron Judge in the postseason. We can't afford it.
No, sir.
We can't afford it.
No, sir. And Bellinger is going to be huge. Mark my words.
Well, he better. Listen, he should be.
Big,
listen, between Yankee Stadium, Alex, and Fenway Park, Bellinger should be good, to be honest with you, if we're being real with it. Let's go back to the phones. Let's go to Mike in South Carolina. Real quick, Mike, you're live with Stephen A. Go ahead.
All right, Stephen A., I know time's short. Real quick, when you quit hearing yes, sir, and yes, ma'am, the rest is soon to follow. Okay?
Fair enough.
Are you surprised people are rude? They're rude on the roads. They're rude in the grocery stores, and I'm in friendly South Carolina.
Rude to elders, no respect for the elders.
No.
Cussing in front of your parents, acting up. Man.
You got upside your head. No, I was born in 63. Right. I think you're 67. You're born somewhere in there.
57.
Yeah.
I'm 57.
Born in 67.
Born in 67, yes.
Yeah, I was born in 63. So, I understand. Corporal punishment wasn't a bad thing. Now, listen, in class, it was not. It kept me in line. Mm-hmm. And I was out of control. But, hey, listen, when the Bucks were down 24-3, I thought you're getting embarrassed. This is bad. All it took was a couple of 70-yarders.
Yep.
And they got back in the game. Get healthy. I know time's short. Get healthy. Godwin was rusty. Get them back. And they're not on Philly's level, but they're not far behind if they're fully healthy.
They're not. But here's the problem. Here's your problem, Mike. Philly ain't the only ones they're behind. They're also behind the Detroit Lions, if we're being honest. That's where the problem lies, Mike. They're also behind the Detroit Lions. You can't sit up there and say that they're not. And that's where the issue lies. The Detroit Lions are no joke, ladies and gentlemen. Their offense is prolific, and they're not going anywhere anytime soon. And we got to pay attention to that and see how those situations unfold. Because to be honest with you, I see the Detroit Lions and the Philadelphia Eagles on a collision course, and the only team I see interrupting that collision course is not the Green Bay Packers with their sorry-ass defense against the Cowboys last night, giving up 40, okay? It's the Los Angeles Rams because of Matthew Stafford and because of Sean McVay and because of Puka Nacua. That's what I see standing in the way of an Eagles-Lions collision course. And, oh, by the way, if you're the Philadelphia Eagles, as great as you are, you're the reigning defending Super Bowl champions, don't have to go to Detroit to play an NFC title game instead of Lincoln Financial Field of Philadelphia. Don't do that to yourselves. I'm looking at Detroit right now, and I'm seeing what I'm seeing, and I'm of the mindset you better make sure that you do not have to go to Detroit for an NFC title game. If you do, with Eminem and the crew in the house, I think it's going to be too much to overcome. That's one guy I got to get on this show to talk about his Detroit Lions. Eminem, one of the greatest rap artists of all time. Stephen A. Smith signing off until tomorrow, everybody. Peace and love. Until then, bye-bye.